I'll be the first to admit this one got by me for a minute. In yesterday's video, I made the statement that I thought perhaps it seemed like there was some good news going on over at Twitter with Elon Musk purchasing the platform, and all of a sudden, conservative outlets and profiles getting more followers, but now I see what they're really doing. It's a subtle game, and in today's video, I'm going to point this out for you. They're trying to shift the conversation. They're trying to change the narrative away from states' rights and put the entire discussion back into a framework of the nation as a whole. America. You see, they can't have any more Ron DeSantis running around. For the last year and a half, the former president, on the left here, has been very silent regarding what's been going on in Florida with Governor Ron DeSantis. And many people think, well, gosh, you'd think they'd be friends. They're really not. And now this issue with Musk buying Twitter, but Trump not coming back to Twitter. He's come out in a statement and said he's not going to. He's going to be participating in this Truth Social thing. But the funny thing about Truth Social is you can't use it on a computer. You can only get it for your phone. Now, I can use Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all on my computer. But Truth Social has a waiting list, meaning they're picking and choosing who can get on it. But you can't use it on a computer. I thought that was very suspicious, but this is what they're trying to do. They can't have you believing in states' rights. And make no mistake, it's not lost on the people in Washington, D.C., what's going on in Florida. They're terrified this is going to catch on. This idea that states can govern themselves and it will make a real difference in the lives of people. They can't have that. They have to shift the conversation back to the national stage. They've already started to refer to Governor DeSantis as America's governor, and they hate this. The folks that think we should just be one big America nation and, well, states are okay and they can kind of govern whatever. But no, that's not what the founding fathers intended. And back in January, even CNN pointed this out. DeSantis draws contrast with federal government and Democratic-led states in State of the State address, where he talked about the importance of doing things constitutionally at the state level. And when you do that, it makes Washington, D.C. irrelevant. And if Washington, D.C. is irrelevant, nobody cares who the president is. Not now, not 2024. Nobody cares. Because they'd be like, why should we bother? All we have to do is fix our state. All we need to do is get our governor to do the things that Governor Ron DeSantis has done in Florida, here in Tennessee, here in Arkansas, here in Texas. And it won't matter what D.C. does. It won't matter. Our state will be fine, just like Florida is. So what did they have to do to fix this? I tested this out. I said, since Elon Musk now owns Twitter, shouldn't he change the name to Musket? Asking for a friend. Only one like. You see, it's just very odd. Don't you think it's odd, after complaining for so long about having speech restricted, that 45 wouldn't already be back on Twitter? Because Truth Social isn't really a thing yet. He hasn't even started there. But here's the key. Here's the glue. You ready for the glue, the proof of this? Elon Musk clarifies free speech stance. The new Twitter owner reassures governments around the world he will obey speech-squelching laws. Billionaire Twitter purchaser Elon Musk has qualified his much-hyped embrace of free speech on Tuesday, his first full day as the platform's owner. reassuring the world's governments he will obey their speech restrictions under the reasoning that such officials behave according to the will of the people they govern. After gloating that the extreme, quote, the extreme antibody reaction from those who fear free speech says it all, the Tesla tycoon explained that what he meant by free speech was not the usual definition, replying to his own tweet to reveal that by free speech, I simply mean that which matches the law. You see, he's purposefully vague here because he knows not every country in the world consults its people on who the leadership is or what the direction they're going is. He continues his quote, and this is from Elon Musk. If people want less free speech, they will ask government to pass laws to that effect. That doesn't work in places where there's a caliphate in place. Musk continued, explaining his latest stance. Therefore, going beyond the law is contrary to the will of the people. The law in many countries has nothing to do with the will of the people, and he knows this. While the billionaire did not explain which country's laws he planned to respect, he was reminded of a recent set of regulations passed in Europe under the name the Digital Services Act, which aims to force social network platforms to police their content much more aggressively, revealing their proprietary algorithms to regulators and explaining how they are working to better comply with EU rules on hate speech and misinformation. EU Commissioner for the Internal Market Thierry Breton declared that Musk would have to follow Europe's strict new rules or face heavy fines or even a continental ban, telling the Financial Times that Musk was welcome, but these are our rules. It's not your rules which will apply here. Musk's Tuesday comments represented a significant step back from his claims the previous day that, quote, free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and his description of himself as a free speech absolutist. The SpaceX founder purchased Twitter for $44 billion. Everybody knows the story. Free speech wing of the Free Speech Party, blah, 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 blah. Twitter is headquartered in the U.S. Europe has much stricter rules delineating the boundaries of freedom of speech, while the U.S. own regulations give platforms like Twitter protection from liability for user-generated content. See, this is the key. This is what people need to focus on. When Governor DeSantis says, quote, people know when they come here on vacation, they're going to be treated with respect. Here? You mean North America? No. Oh, you mean the United States? No. He means Florida. They're not going to have to show medical papers to get a beer. This is what pisses off the national right and D.C. in general. Believe it or not, there are folks in the national right, national Republican movement that don't like this idea of states' rights. And that Governor DeSantis has championed this. It bothers them because it takes away their power. In Florida, there will be no COVID-19 vaccine mandate on school children. That is the law. You wouldn't believe how many people were stunned that this could actually be done. That the states could just take charge. Individual states could just take charge by themselves and say, we're not doing it, and have that stand. And the governor was very smart. He enlisted an A-team, the untouchables I've referred to them as. And he's referenced our House of Representatives, our state Senate, our Florida Supreme Court, the First Lady, the President of the Senate, the Lieutenant Governor, the Attorney General Ashley Moody, the Secretary of State Laurel Lee, CFO Jimmy Patronis, Speaker of the House Sprowls. He's brought up all these people. Joseph Ladapo, our Chief Health Officer. All these different people as a team, but a state-focused and state-functioning team. This is what D.C. is terrified of. People need to be taught why America was founded, what the principles that made our country unique were. States' rights were those principles. They need to be taught that our rights do not come from government, they come from God. See, D.C. can't have this. Did you ever wonder why President 45, prior to this, never bothered to run for a governor of anything or a mayor of anything? get his feet wet, you know? It's either I'm in charge of the entire place or nothing. See, that's the game. They have to shift people's focus away from states' rights and what's going on in their states, because that could have an actual real effect on the ground that would make DC irrelevant, and they hate this. They hate this idea of individual states doing their own thing, because that's what the Constitution provides for. So this is the game. This is the scheme. This is the plan. Because they can't defeat DeSantis in the arena of ideas. Even Ann Coulter came out and said it's inaccurate to call Trump the leader of the Republican Party. DeSantis is. De facto, on the ground. And this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to pull people over to Twitter and get them back in their emotional brains again and start to think of things on a national, global stage. And they're going to forget about their local school boards. They're going to forget about their local mayors, forget about their local sheriffs. The things that'll really make the difference. While everybody's focused on, oh, yay, we're winning the revolution, you know, on social media. These social media accounts have no effect usually on local races or local issues. I could talk about things here locally in Florida. Let me give an example. We have all sorts of issues going on in Flagler County where I live. But if I made YouTube videos about them, it wouldn't move the needle one way or the other, because most of my audience is international. I have people from California and people from Ireland and people from South America and people from New Zealand and all over the place in Canada that just wouldn't care. It's not that the issues wouldn't be important, but Flagler County, Florida, issues are not really meant for national social media platforms. But they're important. They're very, very important that people stay focused and engaged in these things. See, they don't want having people show up at school board meetings. It takes away from their control. And that's what this is about. And this is a huge warning, guys. Keep your eyes open. This is not what it seems. I know it feels good over there at Twitter to see all of your right-wing heroes get all their followers back and be reinstated and all this kind of stuff. It's just changing the focus. That's all that's happening. I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.